The Entrepreneur Woman of Proverbs 31 opening, Derotao 130. Did you know that the Bible has one of the most complete and inspiring entrepreneurship stories ever written? And no, it's not about a powerful king, not about Solomon with all his wealth, nor about Joseph managing Egypt. It's about a businesswoman who managed multiple companies, invested in real estate, managed employees, and still took care of her family with excellence. Today we're going to do a deep dive into Proverbs 31. We'll study it verse by verse, extracting financial and entrepreneurship principles that this extraordinary woman teaches us. And I guarantee, by the end of this video, your vision of biblical prosperity, work, and entrepreneurship will never be the same again. Before we begin, let me tell you something. Proverbs 31 is not just a text about being a good wife. This chapter is a management manual, an entrepreneurship treatise, a finance lesson disguised as Hebrew poetry. And today, we're going to break it all down, historical and literary context, who wrote it. Proverbs 31 was written by King Lemuel, or rather, these are words that his mother taught him. Verse 1, the words of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him. So a mother, a woman, is teaching her son about the type of wife he should value. And what kind of woman does she describe? A complete entrepreneur. Text structure. Starting from verse 10, we have an acrostic poem in Hebrew. Each verse begins with a letter of the Hebrew alphabet, from Aleph to Tav. This shows it's a carefully structured text, designed to be memorized and taught. And what does it describe? A woman of incalculable value, verse 10, a virtuous woman who can find, for her worth is far above rubies. The word virtuous here in Hebrew is eshet chayil, woman of strength, of capability, of excellence. It's not just nice, it's competent, powerful, capable, cultural context. Many people think that women in antiquity were just passive housewives, but the Bible shows the opposite. This woman had the freedom to do business, invest, hire employees. She wasn't trapped at home. She was building a family empire. And look, her husband trusted her. Verse 11. The heart of her husband trusts in her, and he will have no lack of gain. He knew she was capable of generating wealth. He didn't limit her. He supported her. Part 1. Her mindset and character. Verses 11-12. Trust and consistency. The heart of her husband trusts in her, and he will have no lack of gain. She does him good and not evil all the days of her life. Look at the first characteristic, reliability. She generated consistent results. He will have no lack of gain. This means she contributed financially to the household in a real way. And look at the next verse. All the days of her life. It wasn't a 30-day project. It wasn't New Year's motivation that ends in February. It was consistency throughout her entire life. Entrepreneurship isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. And this woman had endurance for the long journey. Verse 25, her inner strength. Strength and dignity are her clothing, and she laughs at the time to come. What a powerful verse. She clothed herself with strength and dignity. This isn't physical clothing, it's attitude, it's mindset. And look at this, she laughs at the time to come. She wasn't afraid of tomorrow. Why? Because she was prepared. Because she had investments, reserves, multiple income sources, capability. Proverbs 27:12 says, the prudent sees danger and hides himself, but the simple go on and suffer for it. She foresaw, prepared, and therefore could laugh at uncertainties. This is the security that comes from financial wisdom. Verse 26, her wisdom. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. She wasn't just wealthy, she was wise. And see, the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. She taught, mentored, passed knowledge forward. Christian entrepreneurs don't hoard knowledge. They multiply wisdom. They lift others up, teach, empower. This reminds me of what Kevin D. Johnson talks about in The Mind of the Entrepreneur. Great leaders don't create followers, they create other leaders. Part 2. Her work and production. Verse 13, the producer mindset. She seeks wool and flax, and works with willing hands. Let's look carefully here. Seeks. She's proactive, doesn't wait for it to fall in her lap. Wool and flax. She knows her raw materials, understands the business. Works with willing hands. She doesn't do it out of obligation. She loves what she does, and with her hands, she wasn't ashamed of manual work. She understood the production process from beginning to end. Kevin D. Johnson, in The Mind of the Entrepreneur, talks about how true entrepreneurs see opportunities where others see problems. This woman of Proverbs 31 had that mindset. She saw wool and flax not as simple materials, but as an opportunity to create value. Paul also valued manual work. In Acts 18:3, he made tents. In 1 Thessalonians 4:11, he says, "Aspire to live quietly, to mind your own affairs, and to work with your hands." Working with your hands isn't shameful, it's dignified. Verse 14, efficiency in acquisition. She is like the ships of the merchant. She brings her food from afar. What an interesting comparison. Merchant ships in antiquity traveled great distances to seek the best products, the best trade opportunities. She didn't settle for mediocrity, for what was right nearby. She sought excellence. She brings her food from afar. She was willing to do extra, go beyond, research, find the best options. In the modern world, don't settle for the first option. Research suppliers, compare prices, seek quality. Be strategic like merchant ships. Verse 15, time management. She rises while it is yet night and provides food for her household and portions for her maidens. Let's break down this verse. Entre she rises while it is yet night. She had discipline. She woke up early. Many successful preneurs talk about the importance of the first hours of the day. Provides food for her household. She took care of her family first. Right priorities and portions for her maidens. Whoa. She had employees. She was an employer. She delegated, distributed tasks, managed a team. This isn't about working yourself to death. It's about having structure. It's about starting the day with purpose. It's about leading a team. Proverbs 6:6-8 says, "Go to the ant, O sluggard. Consider her ways and be wise." Without having any chief, officer, or ruler, she prepares her bread in summer and gathers her food in harvest. Planning, anticipation, consistent work. Verse 18, evaluating results. She perceives that her merchandise is profitable. Her lamp does not go out at night. She perceives that her merchandise is profitable. She evaluated results. She had metrics. She knew if she was profiting or not. Many entrepreneurs work hard but don't stop to evaluate if the business is working. She was different. She verified, analyzed, measured. Her lamp does not go out at night. Some interpret this as working late. But it can also mean that her business continued functioning even when she wasn't there. She had systems, processes, a team working. This is working with intelligence, not just with effort. Verse 19, technical skill. She puts her hands to the distaff, and her hands hold the spindle. She had technical skill. She knew her craft. She wasn't just a manager. She knew how to do it. The distaff and spindle were weaving tools. She mastered the technique, and this is important. Before managing a business, you need to understand the business. The best entrepreneurs know their product, their service, their field deeply. Part 3, her investments and financial vision. Verse 16, the real estate investment. She considers a field and buys it. With the fruit of her hands, she plants a vineyard. Deep analysis. Part 1. This is one of the most important verses of the entire chapter for anyone wanting to understand biblical finances. Let's break it down word by word. Considers a field. First, she analyzes. She doesn't buy on impulse. She studies. Is the location good? Is the soil fertile? What's it really worth? What's the potential return? This is due diligence. This is investing with wisdom, not with emotion. Deep analysis. Part 2. And buys it. She has available capital. How? Because she produced, sold, generated profit. And instead of spending all the profit, she saved to invest. Proverbs 21:20 says, "Precious treasure and oil are in a wise man's dwelling, but a foolish man devours it." She was the type who accumulated resources for the right opportunities. Deep Analysis, Part 3. Plants a vineyard with the fruit of her hands. Look at this incredible thing. The money she used to plant came from earnings, not from the principal capital. She didn't compromise the family's security and plants a vineyard. She didn't leave the field idle. She made the asset produce. A vineyard takes years to bear fruit, but when it starts, it produces for decades. Kevin D. Johnson emphasizes in The Mind of the Entrepreneur that successful entrepreneurs think about assets, not expenses. Every investment needs to generate return. The woman of Proverbs 31 understood this perfectly. She didn't spend money on a field to impress anyone. She invested to multiply. This is long-term vision. This is building wealth, principle of sowing and reaping. The entire Bible talks about sowing and reaping. Corinthians 9-6. The point is this: whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and whoever sows bountifully will also reap bountifully. Galatians 6:7. Do not be deceived. God is not mocked.
For whatever one sows, that will he also reap. She understood this principle.
Money sitting idle doesn't multiply. It needs to be planted. Verse 24. Multiple product lines. She makes linen garments and sells them. She delivers sashes to the merchant. Now look at her strategy. She produced raw materials, linen, fabrics. She manufactured finished products, fine clothes. She sold retail, linen garments. She sold wholesale, sashes to merchants. This is total diversification. She had different products, different sales channels, different types of customers, different income sources. If one area had a crisis, the others sustained the business. Biblical principle of diversification. Ecclesiastes 11:1-2 clearly teaches, "Cast your bread upon the waters, for you will find it after many days. Give a portion to 7 or even to 8, for you know not what disaster may happen on earth. Give a portion to 7 or even to 8. This is diversification." Don't put all your eggs in one basket. In the modern context, don't depend only on salary. Have side projects. Invest in different areas. Real estate, stocks, businesses. Develop multiple skills. Create more than one income source. Verse 17, strength to work. She dresses herself with strength and makes her arms strong. Dresses herself with strength was an expression for preparing for physical work. You would tie up your garments to have freedom of movement. She prepared physically to work. She made her arms strong, kept herself fit, healthy, capable. Many entrepreneurs neglect health and later pay the price. She understood that her body was a work tool that needed to be maintained. John 1:2. Beloved, I pray that all may go well with you, and that you may be in good health, as it goes well with your soul. Prosperity includes health. Part 4. Her character and social impact. Verse 20. Strategic generosity. She opens her hand to the poor and reaches out her hands to the needy. Here is the differentiator of Christian entrepreneurship. She prospered, but wasn't greedy. Opens her hand. Gesture of giving, of active generosity. Reaches out her hands. She reached the needy, didn't wait for them to come to her. And see, she helped the poor and the needy. Different groups, different needs. She had a broad social heart. Kevin D. Johnson, in The Mind of the Entrepreneur, he emphasizes that great entrepreneurs don't just think about personal profit, but about impact and legacy. The woman of Proverbs 31 embodied this perfectly. Her success had purpose beyond herself. Prosperity in the Bible is never just for accumulating. See what the word says. Verses about generosity. Proverbs 11:24-25. One gives freely, yet grows all the richer. Another withholds what he should give and only suffers want. Whoever brings blessing will be enriched, and one who waters will himself be watered. Proverbs 19:17. Whoever is generous to the poor lends to the Lord, and he will repay him for his deed. Proverbs 22:9. Whoever has a bountiful eye will be blessed, for he shares his bread with the poor. Luke 6:38. Give, and it will be given to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, will be put into your lap. For with the measure you use, it will be measured back to you. Generosity is not optional in the kingdom. It's essential. Verse 21. Providence and care. She is not afraid of snow for her household, for all her household are clothed in scarlet. She is not afraid of snow. She was prepared for crises. In Israel's climate, snow wasn't common, but when it came, it was severe. All her household are clothed in scarlet, meaning warm clothes, in quantity. She had reserves. She anticipated needs. This is what we call today an emergency fund. This is having a margin of safety. Proverbs 27:12 that we already quoted. The prudent sees danger and hides himself. Joseph of Egypt did this on a national scale. He saved during the 7 years of plenty for the 7 years of famine. Genesis 41:35-36. Let them gather all the food of these good years that are coming, and store up grain under the authority of Pharaoh for food in the cities, and let them keep it. That food shall be a reserve for the land against the 7 years of famine. Wisdom is preparing before the crisis arrives. Verse 22. Personal excellence. She makes bed coverings for herself. Her clothing is fine linen and purple. Interesting. After talking about how she cares for the poor, the text says she also cares for herself. She makes bed coverings for herself. She didn't neglect herself. Fine linen and purple. Quality clothes, even luxurious. Purple was an expensive color in antiquity. This shows balance. She was generous, but didn't live in self-imposed poverty. She understood that taking care of herself isn't selfishness, it's stewardship. Many Christians have a distorted view thinking that being holy means being miserable, but God wants us to prosper. John 1:2. Beloved, I pray that all may go well with you and that you may be in good health as it goes well with your soul. You can be generous and live well. You can help others and have quality of life. Verse 23. The impact on her husband. Her husband is known in the gates when he sits among the elders of the land. Known in the gates. The city gates were where business, judgments, important decisions happened. He had social influence. And why? Largely because of her. Verse 11 had already said, the heart of her husband trusts in her, and he will have no lack of gain. She didn't compete with her husband, she complemented him. Her success contributed to his success. They were partners. This destroys that wrong idea that a successful woman threatens a man. In the biblical view, the couple prospers together. Verse 27, vigilance. She looks well to the ways of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. She looks well to the ways. She had attention to details. She supervised, monitored, managed. This isn't neurotic micromanagement, it's responsibility. She knew what was happening in her house and in her businesses. Does not eat the bread of idleness. She wasn't a parasite. She worked for what she had. Proverbs 10:4. A slack hand causes poverty, but the hand of the diligent makes rich. Proverbs 12:24. The hand of the diligent will rule, while the slothful will be put to forced labor. Proverbs 13:4. The soul of the sluggard craves and gets nothing, while the soul of the diligent is richly supplied. The Bible makes it very clear. Laziness leads to poverty. Diligence leads to prosperity. Part 5. Recognition and legacy. Verses 28-29. Family recognition. Her children rise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praises her. Many women have done excellently, but you surpass them all. What beautiful recognition. Her children rise up and call her blessed. Her husband praises her publicly. Many women have done excellently, but you surpass them all. She was exceptional, not mediocre. And see, this recognition isn't just for the money she earned. It's for the example she left, for the legacy she built. Her children saw hard work pays off, integrity in business, generosity with the poor, excellence in everything, wisdom in decisions. What greater inheritance can a mother leave? Verse 30, the true value. Charm is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. And here is the foundation of everything. All this success, all this capability, all this excellence, where did it come from? A woman who fears the Lord. There's the source. She wasn't successful despite fearing God. She was successful because she feared God. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, Proverbs 9:10. And wisdom generates good financial decisions, discipline. In work, integrity in business, balanced generosity, long-term vision, healthy. Relationships, everything we saw about her flows from this root. She feared the Lord. Verse. Woe the final reward, give her of the eye, fruit of her hands, and let her works praise her in the gates. Give her of the fruit of her hands. She deserved to reap what she sowed. Her hard work had just reward. And let her works praise her in the gates. Her legacy was public, recognized, celebrated. This isn't boasting. It's the natural result of a life well lived. Jesus said in Matthew 5:16, "Let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven." Her success pointed to God, not to herself. Recap and practical application. The 7 pillars of the woman of Proverbs 31. So, recapping everything we studied today, here are the 7 pillars of this extraordinary woman's entrepreneurship. Producer mindset. She generated value, not just consumed, saw opportunities where others saw obstacles, transformed raw materials into valuable products too. Investment in assets, carefully. Evaluated before investing, bought assets that generated returns. Thought long-term, not immediate gratification. Intelligent. Diversification, multiple product lines, different sales. Channels, various income sources, protection. Against crises in one area, 4. Discipline and execution. Woke up early with purpose. Worked consistently. Evaluated. Results regularly, didn't eat the bread of idleness. Management and leadership managed employees, efficiently delegated tasks. Appropriately, supervised without neglecting, led by example. Generosity with purpose. Helped the afflicted and needy. Saw prosperity as a tool for impact. Balanced. Self-care and helping others left a legacy beyond finances. 7. Fear of the Lord as foundation. All wisdom flowed from this. Root integrity guided her business. Trust in God sustained her. Decisions. Her success glorified the Creator. Application. For today. So how do you apply this today in your life? If you're an entrepreneur, work with excellence. As if doing it for the Lord, invest in assets. Not just expenses. Diversify your income sources. Be generous with your profits. Let your business reflect kingdom values. If you're an employee, develop an owner's mindset. Seek additional income sources. Invest part of your salary consistently. Be diligent in your work. Prepare for future ventures. If you're a student, develop valuable skills. Learn about finances and investments. Start small projects. Cultivate discipline and excellence. Build solid character for everyone. Start where you are. Be faithful in little. Trust God for growth. Maintain integrity. Always remember prosperity with purpose. Closing final call. The Bible is not against prosperity. It's against idolatry of money, against dishonesty, against exploitation, against greed. But working with excellence, entrepreneurship with wisdom, investing with intelligence, and prospering with generosity, that's throughout all of Scripture. Proverbs 10:22. The blessing of the Lord makes rich, and he adds no sorrow with it. The Proverbs 31 woman shows us that it's possible to prosper, work hard, build wealth, and glorify God in the process. She was successful not despite her faith, but because of it. Call to action. If this video blessed you and opened your eyes to what the Bible really teaches about prosperity and entrepreneurship, I want to ask you 3 things. First, hit that like button right now. It helps this message reach more people who need to hear biblical truth about finances and work. Second, Subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss our next videos. We're diving deep into biblical principles that actually work in real life. Principles about money, business, leadership, and living with purpose. Third, leave a comment below telling me, which of these 7 principles from the Proverbs 31 woman impacted you the most? Are you going to start applying it today? I read every single comment and I'd love to hear your story. And hey, if you know someone who needs to see this, an entrepreneur struggling, a woman who thinks the Bible limits her potential, or anyone seeking God's wisdom about finances, share this video with them right now. Let's spread this truth together. God bless your finances, your business, and your journey. See you in the next video. End screen elements. Subscribe button animation, suggested next video. Biblical principles for financial freedom. Comment section, highlight. Social media links.